started recording.
So this one, we want to use the positioning that we talked about and build something that is common there that you always see on different sites. Yeah, you always see it. And what is modal? Modal is just other content that are placed on top of the main content on the page. So you can use modal to kind of present an information to the user or to present a form that the user needs to be focused on at the particular time. But you just the other content that are there before, you still want them to remain on the page, but the main one that you want the user to focus on at that particular time is going to be on top of the those contents that you have there. For example, here, look at this create button. Clicking on this create and upload video, you see that something is going to pop out here. The other content are still there, but this one is placed on top of the other content. And this one here is what we call modal. Anything in this form is what we call modal, because this is the name for it. Anything you are talking about modal, it's just the content that you place on top of other content that you have on that particular page, and it's the one that is going to have attention there. So if you look at it now, the other content now, something is blocking them. You can't click on it. You can't interact with all those content at the back. The only thing you can interact with is the one that pop up here. And if you don't want to do anything with it again, then you have to close it. And once you close, then you'll be able to interact with the other content that on the page are there. And what we have here, or what this YouTube is using here, is what we call modal. So entire stuff here, everything that you are seeing here is what we refer to as a modal. This one is not modal. This one that drop back, this is what we call drop down here. So this is a drop down which uses the same thing there, but the one that actually take the total attention of the entire page is what we refer to as modal. So anything in this form, it is a modal there like that. You are going to see a lot of them, but the one that actually take the attention is what we refer to as a modal there. So if I click on this edit description, can you see this one too? Can you see another mode? But this one is just a pop-up because it's not taking, as you can see, it's not taking that. If it is taking attention from the other content that if you cannot click any other content at the back of it, then it is modal. But if you can click anything at the back of it, that one we call it pop-up, or it can just be menu or the name, any name you want to call it. But this one here that I just showed now for this upload video, this is a modal here. And how do you create modal? You use what you've done already, which is that positioning, because it's positioning that is being used here to place this content on top of other one. And the trick here when you are creating a modal is that you are going to have a box. So the trick here is to have a box around everything. Let me see. So oh no, it can't be this black color. Let me use another color. It should be this. So the trick here is to have a container that goes over all the other content on the page, and that's the reason why you see that it have this color here, but the color is visible, like means you can see what is at the back of it. It is transparent. So they applied the black color, but that's alpha channel there. That's why you can see what is at the back. If you don't want the people to see what is at the back, just use normal color there, and you'll not be able to see anything at the back. And inside this box here, then we have, let me put it there. So this is how it works. So you are going to have this color here, this line here. This is the one that cover up all the other content that you have on the page. And inside it, then you are going to have the actual content that you want to display to the user. So this is the box, and this box is going to be inside this container here, inside the modal. So we have the modal. The modal is going to cover up the entire page with this overlay, and inside the overlay you are going to have the actual content that you want the user to focus on. And whatever content you want to put inside it, you just put it inside the container here. Then you apply your styling, and everything is going to show the way it's supposed to come outside there. And we're going to do something like this, like what we have on this YouTube. We're not going to play too much of our content there. What we just want to do here is to have a box, or we're going to have a button something like this that the user can click on to sign up. And once they click on sign up, instead of the stuff to take them to another page, it's not going to take them to a page. It will just pop out a box, and inside that box they will fill whatever they need to fill for the registration. And from there, once you click on sign up, then it closes the stuff and it displays the content for them on the page there. And what am I trying to do here? So let's go to Figma. I think Figma did something like that. So let me go to Figma so that I'll show you what I'm do. When you create modal now, the way the Figma is that's you to your own. Anytime you start, a modal is going to pop up. You can see now all this content that are there like that. So it's going to block everything the form. You are not
Bonjour.
the image something you can do like that's what I'm trying to do. It's not just talking but see where you can use it. So you got that particular tool is not, you know, say that it's in is to set up the content that we want to use. So the first thing we need to do is to set up our page. And as you can see here, I'm going to have a main element. Inside this main element, we are going to have title like this. I'll copy this their title, this their subtitle, and this the button here. So, and beside it too, we are going to have one image so that we have like landing page. And when you click on this get started for free, then it's going to pop our modal. But we are going to see the process to follow in order for you to build the stuff. What's going on?
Is the modal stuff you are talking about? So is the modal
Yeah.
stuff you're talking about before
Yeah,
you
I
log in
said
Figma?
yeah, this is what I said. I said we want to do something like this Figma here. We want to have a button that you can click on the button. That only taking time because it's like this. One for the email, one for the password. We want to have a button to log in. Once you click on log in, it will whatever you do to display it. What we want to do is that to create something like this, to have a text, to have the image. This image. So
Can you change your server, please? Your I'm not seeing your screens. Yes, sir.
this I said we're going to have something like this. We're going to have this type. We have the text and the bottom like this. And by the right hand side, inside that modal, we're going to have two
This one.
inputs and one button. The first input is going to for email. The second one is going to be for their full name and once the click complete account, then it is going to close the modal and it's going to display the content somewhere on the screen. But for now, the major thing we want to focus on is the modal. We need to create the modal. We need to apply the style and at the same time, we need to apply the necessary JavaScript and get for the thing to be your code. Right now I'm inside my code. I hope you can see it. Okay. All right. So why this thing is not loading before? So I've added this basic content that we need. We have this main element. Inside the main element, we have two divs. The first div is I have this class left. The second one I have this class right. So on the left, we have this H1, we have the P and the button that is going to trigger our modal once it's clicked on. But for now, we don't know how to do that. So we need to create our modal first, but this is not even the modal right now. This is just the content we want to display on the screen. But let me quickly start this image so that it's not going outside of the screen. Because the thing is just getting. So max width should just be 100%. So we are saying that this image shouldn't be more than whatever it's being used. So let me see. So why is VS Code something like this? So once it's saved and everything is okay, the image should not be going outside of the screen anyhow. Or if I want, let me just quickly reduce it to a particular size. So the width should just be let me use 200 pixels for now. We'll change it later on so that we can see other content on the screen. Yeah, so it's 200 pixels right now. But we're going to return it back to the size that we want once we start with the styling. So what do we need to do now? So we need to create another container here, and this is where we are going to place our modal content. So this is what I want to do. So I'm going to have a div here, and this div now later on you can place it anywhere you want, but we are going to position it as fixed because we want it to cover up the entire screen and we don't want it to be moving around. So we are going to position it as fixed later on. So this is the modal, and inside this modal there we are going to have another div for the content. Don't forget the YouTube that I used to explain. If you look at, let me go back there again and bring it up. So if you look at the YouTube, clicking on this upload video, you see that there is a box at the back or there is a background stuff at the back. So this is the modal here. The first line here is the modal, and the one that is inside it is what I'm calling the content. So whatever stuff you want to display inside this box is the content. So this box itself is what I'm calling content. Then the entire stuff that is going to cover up, let me draw the stuff again because it's not drawn properly. So here, if you look at it, there's like a black background here that cover up everything at the back of it, and it's showing them there. And again, inside it, we have this box here. So this box that I use this blue line for is what I'm calling content in our code there. And for this pink one, that's the modal. So that's the one we are going to position on top of the other content, and it's going to have this kind of a background that is transparent so that we can see what is at the back. And inside it, this content now is going to have the background we want it to have. Like it's going to be white. Our own is going to be white because I'm using dark theme, so that's why it's showing black here. But this is actually white once you change to a light theme here, and this is what we want to do. And inside this box, we are going to have the content. And what are the content that we said we want to display inside the box? We said we want to have a form, and inside the form Inside the form, we're going to have input of type email. So the user should be able to supply their email. The placeholder too is going to be email. So the placeholder is going to be email. Again, we are going to have another input. This one is going to be of type text. This is going to be, it's going to have name as a full name. Then placeholder is going to be enter your full name. So for this one is going to be enter your email, and we're going to have the last one, which is going to be the button, which is going to submit the form. So which is going to be this, or which is going to be take seats or sign up like this. So save. So once this thing get to the page, it's not going to look like that. So we're going to be the one that is going to make it to look like the modal, because by default every element you arrange in the HTML are just going to, as you can see it here, it's just going to come outside like a normal element on a page. But this is not how we want it to be. What we want to do is that this entire modal here, we want it to cover the screen, and inside this content here, which is this div here, it's going to have a background of white, and inside it we are going to have the form along with its content there. So we are done with this modal for now. So the next thing we need to do is to apply our CSS. So the next thing we need to do is to apply the CSS. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Okay. So the next thing we need to do is to apply our CSS. I'm coming. All right, I'm back. So let's go into our CSS and do all the necessary stuff that we need to do. The first thing we want to do here, you know gist already. So do all your basic setting, P0, M0, box sizing, border box, and other one like that. So M0, then box sizing should be border box. Then we can apply our font family too. In case you have a family, you can just specify it here. In case you have a family you want to use. But I'm going to go with this system UI. I don't need to connect to any external fonts. So here, do we have any variable? I don't think we have any variable yet. So so the body here, we're going to have width of 100%. So width of 100%, minimum height. I think the content we have there is not going to go more than this stuff, so we can just use height directly. So height should be 100 VH. But you know that the content is going to go more than what you have here. It's going to go more than this height of the browser. So you know that you need to use minimum height so that this doesn't go more than what you want it to be. So the next thing, we can overflow it to be hidden, and these are the basic stuff that I think we can use. Once we can apply some background, we can apply this background color. It's not a must, but I'm going to use it just for us to see that it's not just white stuff that is there like that. So let me use this color that I normally use. So we should have that background there like this. So the next thing we have there is the main. So this main, we need to display it flex so that we can place it side by side. Let me put this in back. So the image, the max width should be 100%. So the image should not go more than its parent like that. So this one display should be flex AI, but we want them to be stacked on top of each other on small screen. So flex direction is going to be column like this. Gap is going to be around that one area. But once we get to a bigger screen, we want it to be side by side. So at the media screen and a mean width of 768 pixels. So the main, we want the flex direction to be row like this, so that when we get to a bigger screen, we know that we have enough space to display the content side by side. So let me wait for it to save, and once it's done, we're going to see the content on the screen there. As you can see on a bigger screen, we're going to have them side by side. But I want this left and the right to be equal in the parent. So I want them to be equal in the parent. So what we can do here is that the left and the right, they should have a flex of 1. So take half of the space in the parent so that the left one will take 50%, the right one too will take 50%, not that one will be more than the other one. But there's a problem here. These are our stuff that we have there. So we need to make sure that they are placed on top of each other. But first, let's move this content to the center. So on the left side, so we have the left, so the display is going to be flex direction is going to be column. I hope you are still here. Gap is going to be
Yeah, I'm still here.
1.25 rem like this. So on the left, I want to move all this content to the center, or to place them on top of each other. They need to go to the center. So which means here we need to use justify content center, since we've already changed the stuff. So save like this, and we should have all this content by the center. But this button is just going wide, so I don't want it to be like this. And again, we need padding around this main, because everything just jump back to the edge of the box. So this thing should have a padding of 1 rem, or I don't want it to be here. So I don't want it to be on the entire stuff. I just want it to be on the left side alone, like that. Yeah, on the mobile, it should just be there. Let me add it to the stuff. I'm not focusing more on this thing. What I'm focusing on is the stuff. So I will not do too much on responsiveness there. So there we're going to have align items, then flex stats. Because I don't want to look at this button here now. The button is just going wide, but I don't want it to be like this. So I want everything to stick to the left side. So that's what I'm using this align item flex start. And once this thing is saved, as you can see, everything is going to stick to this side there, like that. So inside the left, we have H1. This one should have a font size of let's say 4 rem, so that it will be bigger, just like the way it is on Figma there. So again, on the left, we have button. So this one is going to have a background. Let me create variable now. So root primary color like this. For now, I'm just going to use black, and then something that can be updated later on. So secondary color here should just be orange red, like this. What's wrong with the VS Code? So saved, and it's going to be there. So coming down here, so this background, I'm going to use this var primary color here. So the border is going to be none. Border radius is going to be 0.5 rem. The color is going to be that our secondary color. Which other thing do we need to do? I think that's all for now. Here we need padding. Top and bottom should be this. Push up should be pointer. Close should be pointer. So saved, and on the screen we should have it like this. So this is what we have. And anytime it is over, we want to switch the background to, so here the left button, anytime it is over, so the background now is going to be this our secondary color, and the color is going to be primary color. We just switch. So when you're on top of it, it will shoot background to the color and the color to the background, so that it gives us this kind of a nice switch of colors. So when you are not hovering on the button, the primary is the background, secondary is the color. But once we go to the button, as you can see, it will switch. Then one that is background will be color, and the one that is colored is going to be the background there, like that. So this is what I have here, and you can make sure that the thing is not fast like this. Maybe you want it to just, so we can transition the stuff like this. So color 0.35 seconds, background color like this 0.35 seconds. So it will take that amount of seconds to change the stuff. So we have the color, which is where is it? It's not giving me. And once you save, then we're going to have it. So the major thing that we want to do here now, as you can see now, is taking 0.35 seconds to change. So the major thing that we want to do here now is to make sure this our modal now is on top of every other content. And how we're going to do that? So what we need to do here is to apply the positioning property there. So here, selecting the modal here. So the first thing you need to do is to position it as fixed. Anytime you are creating a modal and that modal is not going to move at all, what you need to do is to position it as fixed, and you make sure that it covers up the entire screen. And how do you do that? Is by using your top 0, right 0, and the other offset. But instead of you doing it like that on 4 line, you can actually do it on 1 line by using 0. I mentioned this last time. Once you use insert, what this thing is going to do is that is to apply top of 0, top 0, bottom 0, right 0, and left 0. That's what it's going to do. So the insert of 0 is going to set all these values to 0 at once. Instead of you doing it yourself, then it's going to do them for you there like that. So that's what it means when you use insert of 0. So insert 0, what you are seeing here is that the top is going to be 0, left is going to be 0, bottom is going to be 0, and the other side too. But if you want, you can actually mention them line by line by just say top 0, right 0, top the bottom 0, and so forth like that. But that's waste of time or waste of typing, because this single property can do it for you. And once it's saved now, you see that this stuff now is going to move up. But right now, this stuff has already covered up the entire stuff. So what do we need to do? We can give it a background color. And here I'm going to give it this background color of black. But if you use black, you can't see what is at the back of it again. As you can see, it has already covered up the entire screen, and we can't see what is at the back of it. So in order for us to be able to still see what's at the back, you need to use the alpha channel, which is the RGBA that you can use there. So RGBA, so 0, 0, 0, this is the normal black, but we want to apply the alpha channel, maybe around the 0.5, which means that this thing is going to be semi-transparent. So you can see the color and you can still see what is at the back of it, as you can see here. So it's giving us this semi-transparent that we can use there. So kind of see what is at the back, and we still see what is there. So what do we need to do now? What we need to do is to move the content that is inside it to center. And how do we do that? You can use your flex property. So display flex AIC, which is align item center. We need to justify the content to center, so that the container that is inside it is going to be at the center. So saved, as you can see, the content now at the center. So what do we need to do? We just need to style the content that is inside it. So modal, then we have the content. That's what I use. To go back there, inside the modal, as you can see, we have the content, and this content needs to have a background of white, so that so background is going to be FFF, which is the same thing as white. So border radius is going to be 1 rem, or let me use 0.75 rem, which is 12 pixels. So we're going to have padding of this 1 rem. So save, and you see that we're going to have the background of white with border radius and the necessary padding that we need for the box, as you can see here. So we have the box. As you can see, we started having our modal. But inside this our modal, later on, we're going to have something here to close it. We're going to have something here to close, or let me even add it right now. So inside the modal, somewhere here, we need to have inside this content, we need to have a button. And this button, what is it going to do? Its job is just to close. So we are going to add a JavaScript later on, but we have this close that is here. So we need to target it, or you can quickly give it a class so that it will be easier to target in CSS there. So I'm going to give it this btn close. So save, and inside the CSS file, we can quickly target it btn close, and here we're going to have the same kind of a design that we have up there. So I'm going to have background, so be this primary, so primary color. I hope you are still here. And for
Yeah,
the
CSS.
yeah, so for the color, we're going to add the secondary color. So for the padding, 0.25 rem, 0.75 rem for left and right there. So save, and we're going to have the button, but we want this button to be, so something is going to happen here, because here we've not really displayed this one. So what we can do here is to display this one too as a flex. So flex direction is going to be colon, like this. Then we can now move this button in its parent to the right hand side. So we can now, what we can do here is to align serve to flex end. So this particular element, not everything that is inside this container here, we want to align it to the end. Don't forget, by default everything is just stretch. So this is stretch, we want to move this one towards the right side. And once this thing is saved and the HTML2 is saved, then everything is going to show on the screen then. So let me wait for this thing. So I don't like the way the button is showing there. It looks like it's having like a line there. So by default, I want to apply this style to all the button. So the border should be none by default. The background should be transparent. Any button I'm not talking to, this is what is going to be there by default. So, and again, to the cursor is going to be pointer by default, all buttons. So let me remove all this direct one from where I'm applying it. So I apply it somewhere here. Where's the button? Yeah, this is the button. So I don't need this cursor of pointer like that. Again, the border too that I did here, I don't need it. So I've applied the generic stuff there like that. So scroll down and save. And once this thing is done, there we're going to have the button. So this is the modal here. So in our modal, we position it as fixed. The reason why we position it as fixed is because we don't want to be able to scroll up and down. Because if you don't position it as fixed, it means if there is any other content in the parent that is more than this particular screen, the user will be able to scroll up and down, and anytime you scroll, it will follow your scroll. But you don't want the user to be able to scroll. So what you do, even if the user can scroll, this one will always be on top of the content, and it will not be part of the content that is going to scroll there. And in order for you to do that, you need to firstly position the element as fixed. If you use absolute, it will work, but don't forget it will be using its parent to calculate the offset. If the parent is not positioned, then it will use the same body. But the problem with absolute is that it can move along with the other content. But that's not what we want. Anytime we display our modal, we don't want it to move at all. Once it's shown, it's always going to stay at that place. It shouldn't move at all to any other place. Whether you scroll or you don't scroll, just maintain that particular location. And in order for us to be able to see what is at the back, that's the reason why we're using this AVA channel here. If you don't use this RGBA, it's going to be 1 by default. And when it is 1, it means you can't see anything at the back of it, whatever color you use. So we are using black right now. That's why it's showing black. If I change it to red, you see that the only thing we have there is just going to be red like this. But I don't want it to have AVA channel, so just move it up and it go back to its original. What's wrong with this VS Code? So once it's saved now, you see that everything is going to be red. But we don't want it to be like this because it's not looking nice. It's okay, but it's not looking nice. We still want to see the content at the back. So in order for you to see the content, what you just need to do, apply your alpha channel straightforward here. So you can do 0.5, 0.6, depending on the level that you want. So if I use 0.8, it's going to be it's going to show the content, but it's not that much as you can see because it's really close to one. And if you are close to zero, then you are giving more space for the content at the back of there. So, but I'll go with this 0.5 because it is semi-transparent, so it is at the middle. So you see the content at the back, and you're still going to see the color. But most of this modal that you see, the color you only see there is black. So instead of you using any of these other, you can use any color, it will work. But the one that works best for modal is black. And you apply your alpha channel there, and it's going to display correctly the way you want it to be. And add this nice design to it because black works best when you are dealing with modal. As you can see here, it's going to give you the color at the back the way it is there, but you can't interact with any of the content. And why can't you interact with any of the content? It's because this modal now is placed on top of the other content. But at some time, depending on where you're using your modal, it might not be at the top. So how do you move it to the top? We talked about the Z index. So the Z index is what you can use to control how the content is going to place on top of each other in the Z direction of the plane there. So here, the content is already at the top. We don't even need to do any Z index. But in case you are creating this modal and there's some other content that is now going on top of it based on the way you arrange your HTML, because the way you arrange your HTML will determine which element will come from. And the reason why this our modal is at the top is because that was what we type last. It is not what we type first. So there. So this main is coming before the modal. And since this one is after this main, it means this one will always be at the top. When you position it, it will always be at the top. But if you have any other one too that is now being positioned and it is coming on top of this one, and you don't want them to be on top of it, what you can do is to add a Z index. And the higher the Z index, the more the element is going to be at the top of the other content. So if I give you like 999 here, it means any other content that have a Z index but is not up to this value, they are always going to be at the back of this modal. And this is what you always see on site like that. They always use this random 999 just to make sure that the content will always be at the top. So let me check Figma and see what they are using for their own. So if you click on this logged in, let's wait for it. And once it's back there, you can inspect the code and you see that what they are using there is still the same thing as what we right now. The difference is you know, so where is it? Yeah, like this.
Hello, sir.
So I'm
Is
waiting for
it
this stuff.
is it the site or okay?
Yeah, this is Figma site. Can you
Yes.
see that?
No, it's just slow here. That's all.
Yeah. Look at it now. Can you see what they are using? Can you see that they are using the same thing?
Okay, Z index.
And
Let me
look at
see
their own
this.
Z index. They use
Yeah.
30. Their own Z index is, and can you see that their background they're using this 0.5? But that's the most
Okay.
used shade there because it gives this nice design. This is what you always see, zero the black, then with this 0% alpha channel. So that's what you always see there, like that. So yeah, so this one here, this is what we're supposed to use, this icon here. But I'm just using the text there, but it's still the same thing. You can place anything you want. But here I'm using this button just to close the stuff. So let me quickly work on this form, and that's where we'll stop. And we'll continue from there in the next class. So here, I have the modal, the contents. Inside it, we have the form. So this one is going to be displayed as flex. Flex direction is going to be colon. Gap is going to be around at 1.125 rem like this. I think this one should be okay. So save, and our form is going to be placed on top of each other instead of being placed like this. And I think the style that I'm using here for all these buttons, they are the same. So since it's the same style, why not just extract it out instead of me, do it myself. So I will just copy all this style directly. It's the same styling for all of them. All the buttons will have the same style. To me now it look as if they are the same style. Oh, so it looks like me they are having the same style. So let me just move everything off. Let me just move everything off. But it's the same thing. So why do I need to start typing the stuff again and again? So in case I need to modify anything, I will just do it directly. So for this button here, the only thing I will just change there is padding. Every other thing remains the same. So align to the other side, and so these are the only two things I need to change on this button. And for the one that is inside form, just remain the way it will just remain the way it is. So down here, what I'm going to do is to have, so inside the modal, inside the content, we have the font, the input that is there. So the border is going to be 1 pixel solid. Um, Let me just use the primary color. No, it's going to be this. So border radius is this, padding is this. Padding left and right should be 0.25 rem like this, which is 4 pixels. Or the top and the bottom should be 7.5. This one should be 5, like this. So anytime the modal, the content, the form, the input is focused like this. So outline color is going to be our primary color. So it's going to be our primary color. And once this one is saved, then that's what we'll stop. In the next class, we continue from there by creating a class that is going to show the modal and the one that is going to close the modal. So we are going to have two classes. The first class is going to be the one that will close, and there's going to be another class, or we can even create it right now, but we're going to add a JavaScript that will be doing the talking in the next class. As you can see, we have this modal, so why are they jump back together like this? So where is that one? The content, okay, I did not use gap here. So the gap should be 1.1.5, no, 1.25 rem like this. So we need to have two classes. There is a class that is going to close the modal. So we need to have a class that is right now, as you can see, the modal is showing. It has this position of fix. It have insert. The display is flex. So anytime the modal is having class close, the display is going to be none. This is what we need to do. So anytime we have a class close on our modal, everything that you are seeing here, you are not going to see it at all. So which means by default, the modal is going to have class close. But later on with JavaScript, anytime you click on this button, it's going to remove that class close. And when that class close is removed, you see the box. This thing is too small. Let me increase this form. So this form, the width should be, no, this is wrong side. The width should be 90% because of mobile, but the max width should be, because of desktop, the max width should be 450 pixels. Again, too, the minimum height of the stuff should be 400 pixels like this. So it can go more than that, but the minimum should be all this one, like that. So save, and once this thing is saved, on the page we're going to have the content. No, it's too much. This height is too much. Let's leave it the way it is. Isn't it too small? What's wrong with all this one? So where's the form? Oh, this is it. This is it's not the form. form that I want to give. This is the one that's supposed to have it. Because it's not limiting the form. It's not, I want the box to be expanded, not the form. So it's now leaving the form here. Yeah, so this is what I want. So we want this thing to maintain, this 450, is it not too big? 450 is too big. So let me use 380, too wide. So it's too wide. Oh, you can still see my screen.
Yes, sir, I can see your screen. Sir.
Okay, so this is what we have here. So it's loading. So what did I just do here? So this
But you
side,
go slow. Like
yes,
you slow.
here is the window, the
Mm-hmm.
recording and the sharing of the screen, everything
Okay.
is just.
Okay.
So now I have this box and it's not doing what I asked it to do. When the form is focused, and when the input is focused, outline color, oh, it's not going to be primary. It should be second. It's actually working. So anytime it is focused, we want the line to be that orange color. So anytime we are there, so we have the modal, but this modal we don't want it to show by default. So which means in the HTML we are going to add this class close on the modal. So anytime you add this class, it's going to display none, and once it display none, then you are not going to see anything. And from JavaScript now, we need to talk to this button, this get started. Once we click on it, we want to remove that class that we added there. Like this class now, we're going to add a close. By default, it is close. So it have class modal, and at the same time, it have class close. So, and when it have that class close, the display is none. And since the display is none, as you can see, you are not going to see anything. So once we click on this button, what it's going to do is that it will remove this class close. And once you remove the class close, you know the thing we see that you are displaying as flex. And once you see that you are displaying as flex, then it's going to pop out. Because by default, when you have only modal, the display is flex. But when you have modal and close, the display is going to be none. And since it's having both of them, then it will remove this flex and it will replace it with none. But if you don't want this thing to display none, what we have to do with JavaScript is to remove this class anytime someone click on this button. And again too, when it's not having this particular class, it's going to come outside. And when it is out, anytime we click on the close button, it will add the close back here. So once you click on this close, what it's going to do is that it's going to add the close here. But I'm seeing border around this. I'm saying, what's wrong with this button? Border should be none. Let's see having this. So all my button here, they are not having this line, this black line. So, and once you click on this close here, what it's going to do is that it's going to add a particular class. And what we just did now is what we call modal. So what we did here now is what we call a modal. So your modal, it's content that is placed on top of the other content like this. And when you are working on it, you can create this overlay in this way if you want, or if you don't want the overlay, you just do it directly like this. But it's always good that you put overlay so that the content at the back is not taking attention from your modal there. That's the reason why you see that we add this overlay here. You still see the content at the back, you still be seeing them, but they are not the major thing there. So because we've applied the background that cover them, even though the background is still showing the content, but it will not put the attention on all those content. The attention is going to be on the one at the front that the user is seeing there. And when you want to close, you can create anything you want here that the user can click. And once they click on it, why my button is not put again? So and once they click on it, you are going to add a class. And which class are we adding there? So the class we want to add here. So the class we want to add is going to be what is down here. So by default, when you have only class modal, you are going to see the content. But if that class modal is not having this close, then it's going to remove the display, which is flex, and it will put it to none. And when it is none, then you are not going to see anything on the screen. But we don't want to be doing it by ourselves by coming to the HTML to be adding the close or to remove the close. We need to add the JavaScript there that is going to do this magic for us. Because when the thing is closed, as you can see, it will not show anything when that class is there. And when the class is not there, then this content is going to pop out on the screen. We don't want to be doing this thing from the code. We want the user to be able to click on something to perform that same action there. And once they click on the button, then it's going to pop it out. And when the user to submit the form here, it's going to pick the whatever contents you type here, and it's going to display it somewhere on the screen. So once you click on submit, it will close, take everything you type here, and just display it on this box here. So we're going to do that one in the next class there, because we need to create another container. So we need to create another container, and that container there is going to be on top of this image. That's another application of the positioning that we want to use. So it's going to place them, it's going to place the container on this image, and whatever you type from this box, that's what it's going to show. But that thing will only come outside when you've already typed something, or you've already passed something here, like you already click on this submit button. That's the only time you see all those one. And we're going to see how to put all this in together in the next class here. So this is where we'll stop. Any question? 2 minutes, and that will be all. 2 minutes. Hello?
Hello, sir.
Yes,
So, hello, sir.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I don't really have questions.